Okay. Hello. Maybe not. There we go. There we go. There's the music. Okay. So I'm running super late, so it's going to take me a couple minutes to get everything set up and situated. Please bear with me. Time to run the gamut and let all the people know that I'm live. Hey Silva, good to see you. I'm getting stuff set up. I've been running late all day. Okay. Oh. All right. So how was your weekend, Silva? Uh, okay. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. I think I've told everybody that. Oh, I didn't post about it. I didn't post about it on the Twitter. Okay. Had to make sure I alerted a tweeter. I got so distracted. Okay. And let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, so this is the one that's live. Good. Awesome, outstanding, great. Okay. Got everything set up. Okay. So I reached out. Oh, let me change screens. I realize I've been on this screen for like 10 minutes. All right, and I know Silva's here. Silva's always here. Okay. Just. All right. So sorry. I know I was getting set up. So let me tell you a little bit about my weekend. So on Saturday, I had a D&D adventure with my friends. It was an extra session because one of our players is going out of town tomorrow, and they wouldn't be there. Well, not they're not my they're my friends, not my players, because I'm not running that game. And they won't be there for the next session, and we wanted to get something done with them before they left. But it's funny, like, so like we the entire point of the extra session was to get to a good stopping point so that way this person's character could leave and not be there for the next 2 sessions, right? We had the entire session, and then at the end of the session, we were not at one of those, like, we kind of had one of those points, and we were kind of going to be like, okay, we're going to go here, rest here in this one secluded cemetery, and so on and so forth. And one of the players was just like, let's just pause the campaign. And then we were like, well, we don't want this to, like, stuff to happen and then for it to stay indefinitely paused. We're all invested in our characters and in this world. And that player was just like, well, why don't we have Orian run a 1 or a 2 shot with all level 20 characters, with different characters in a different world and a different setting. And I got blindsided, right? And so this was Saturday, and the next session is Wednesday, right? And I was gobsmacked, and I was like, I guess. And the player said that, like, he wanted me to run it because he remembers the last time I ran a session for him, and it was one of his, favorite experiences, and he wants to have fun again. I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's flattering. That's still a lot of work. And at first I was like thrown for a loop, and I was just gonna let our regular DM. Then I started thinking about it. I had some ideas, and I have the beginnings of an idea of a framework. I just have to populate that framework with things. And I think once that gets going, it could be a very nice challenge. And it could be very interesting, but we'll see. Still have a lot of planning to do, but it just completely took me by surprise. And then yesterday I had this experience where, like, I was like using the restroom, and I felt something while I was just like itching an itchy, like, thing on my side. And it was like this like lump thing that felt like smooth and weird. And I started panicking, and I picked at it, and I pulled at it, and I picked at it, and I pulled at it because I was panicking. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And it was a tick that I pulled out of my skin. Thankfully the head came out with it. So I was very fortunate there. And the only time I would have been in a place that a tick would have found me would have been about a week ago. So that means it was probably clinging to my clothes and just beat me recently, because it didn't look like it had fed. It wasn't, like, very expanded. I took pictures of it, and then I flushed it, which now I know I should have kept it in order to get it tested. But it was my first time ever getting, well, in recent memory at least, getting bit by a tick. I think I might have had one bite me years ago. But yeah, so, like, I got, and what's funny is I took pictures of the tick, and I showed it on Facebook and to my friends, and I was like, hey, this happened. And, like, some of my friends looked at it, and they're like, that looks like a Lone Star tick. Lone Star ticks don't carry Lyme disease, so you should be fine. Well, not fine, but, like, you're not, like, that's the big thing people worry about when it comes to ticks. And the one kind of morbidly funny part about it is Lone Star ticks are known for carrying a disease that makes you allergic to red meat. And one of my friends was like, if that was a Lone Star tick, you'll know real fast if you're allergic to red meat. And I'm like, no, I won't. For those of you who don't know, the joke is that I'm vegan, so I won't notice if I develop an allergy to red meat. And I talked to I already had an appointment with my primary care physician to look at my blood pressure today. So I went in, talk about that, and I talked to my doctor about it. And I showed my doctor the picture, and my doctor's like, it looks like this, and points at a tick that looks nothing like it. Like similar size, but completely different markings on the back. Hey, Nabiru. And I'm like, I guess that could be it. And it's like, oh, you know, and I'm like, when I showed it to my friends, they all said it looked like a Lone Star tick. And my doctor's like, we don't have Lone Star ticks here. I'm like, are you sure? Because I know I looked at a map and it said that Maryland was one of the places. So she's like, let me look it up. And she looks it up. It's like, okay, so they do happen in Maryland. They're just in this place where we live. It's just not as common. And we're like, but still, Lone Star ticks don't carry Lyme disease. So I'm in the clear with that. Well, kind of in the clear. My doctor kind of dressed the wound, and whenever she looked at the bite site, she was like, it looks like you just picked at it and ripped out like parts of your skin. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what happened. And when I told my doctor about like, hey, you know, Lone Star ticks are known for carrying that, and she just chuckled about it. And I'm like, I'm not entirely sure if that's a chuckling thing. I don't know if like, because that might be something I need to know in the future. So I don't know if that's something they can test for in the future or what have you, but it'll definitely be interesting. I have not gotten nearly as much drawing practice done as I would have liked. I've learned some things since my last drawing stream. I almost did a drawing stream tonight, but I was like, no, I want to do a writing stream. And I was supposed to do a lot of drawing earlier, but I just got preoccupied with like calls and with stuff and with making food. And like, so like I got up because I woke up super early to go to the doctor's office. Then I passed out when I got home. And I woke up around like 6 o'clock. And I messaged my friend who wanted to talk to me about the D&D thing. And so I kind of just sat around for like an hour waiting to hear back from them. And then I didn't hear anything, so I went to go make some food and do some other stuff. And I don't know if it was just difficulty with messages being sent, but like I didn't hear back from them until like a lot later. And we had a good conversation about a lot of ideas. I want to bounce ideas off of them, because I've never planned a campaign for people above level like 10 or 15. I've never run a level 20 challenge like. Alrighty. I found a CR calculator. Maybe I could tinker around with that. Alright. So yeah, like I was saying, Nabiru, one of my friends in the D&D game I'm in, when we had our bonus session on Saturday, was like, hey, we should, since one of our players is going to be gone for 2 weeks, we should have a one shot or a 2 shot with different characters in a different setting or different stuff. And it was like, Well, and you know, I should run it. Also, I should also mention, for those of you who don't know, Discord is doing a thing where they change how the usernames work. And because before it was your name plus a set of numbers in order to differentiate you from other people who had the same name. Um, and uh, I was like, I think I was like Oriansenshi 7777. And the time came for me to pick, because they're changing up the names where now the names are not case sensitive and the names have no things, but there's only one person with each name, right? So now I am on Discord, the one and only Oriansenshi. I debated dropping the Senshi because I always remove it in my nicknames, but I'm like, you know what? It's part of my branding at this point. Maybe one of these days I'll try to get people to call me Senshi again. I used to offer people that, but nobody ever called me Senshi. It's funny how that worked. Um okay. All right. So how was your weekend, Nabiru? That was my weekend. I got bit by a tick. I dealt with an extra D&D session and kind of getting volunteered to run a two-shot for level 20 characters that I've never run like that level before. But how was your weekend, Nabiru? Let me turn on the volume a little bit. I have this friend acquaintance, long but fun, learning Pathfinder, still quiz making, all the usual. Oh, that's fun. So what kind of character are you making in Pathfinder, Nabiru? Or are you going to be running a Pathfinder game? So there's this guy I know on Twitter who makes a lot of like 5th edition and Mutants and Masterminds and other stuff, right? And like he's all about world building and he's a paid GM and he he's developed these very intricate and unique pantheons and world building tutorials. And so I decided to reach out to him and be like, hey, I'm running an adventure. I gave a quick description of what I'm working with here. And he hasn't responded. And I don't know if he's going to respond because a lot of his stuff uh, is behind a paywall. So I don't know, because like since this is just a home game, I'm not really looking to be putting out money for stuff. Even though I'm always willing to help support whenever I can, I'm just not really in a good place. Doing a paladin, but quirky. So what's paladin in Pathfinder 2e? Is it champion? Is that it? Are you playing 2e, Pathfinder 2e, or Pathfinder 1e? Second edition or first edition, I mean. Yeah, champion. Do they still have Smite? I've tinkered around a little bit with Pathfinder. A cat folk champion, Smite's still a thing? Okay. Alright. So you're gonna be are you literally going to be a cat girl? Are you going to say, oh no? Will you say meow? Will you be wearing heavy armor? Because I'm just picturing a cat girl in like plate mail, just uh, just being like, "Don't worry, I'll save you, right? Meow." Oh, I see, Nabiru. So you're doing some yabai stuff, I see. Make sure your game master and other players are okay with you doing yabai stuff. Mm-hmm. The very yabai campaign. Okay. We're all anime fanatics. Oh, goodness gravy. You're gonna swap computers? Okay, have a good computer swap. Sometimes people frustrate me. I see someone uh on Facebook, someone made a post about some shenaniganry that happened between an Amazon delivery driver and somebody's in a customer's smart home. There's a whole lot of stuff I don't want to get into it. And like the person who was commenting on it was like, why would you ever get a smart home, get up and turn off the lights yourself, right? And like I see this a lot and it frustrates me. Wizard's Bard, Inventor, Summoner, I'm a champion, so I'm the only tanky one yet. Oh no, Nabiru. Like I see a lot of this kind of happen a lot with with people when it comes to the whole smart home and accessibility options. Like for some people, they can't just get up and like flip the light switch. I'm not saying that that is the large portion of people who use smart homes. Um, but like there are people in different situations. Anyway, Alrighty. But yeah, so I mean, realistically, does the cat person thing in Pathfinder give you any penalties that would make you not useful as a paladin? Like, I know it, like, description wise, you picture cat people as being like soft and fluffy and and nimble and agile and stuff, but like, is there any penalty that would stop you from wearing heavy armor and being a champion? Yeah, so I mean, if you want to be a buff and uh a buff and well armored champion, go for it. Give me 1 second while I put an idea down before I forget it. Okay. Um. Preconceptions because certain races are optimized for certain classes. I guess. I guess. No one says you have to play optimally. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can play in whatever way you see fit. Um and that's okay. And that's one of the things that's fun about not just Pathfinder and D&D, but about all role-playing games, is that, like, while optimizing can be a thing, it should never be required. Um, some modules that are just like, this module's so difficult, if you're not fully optimized, you'll get curb stomped. Those bug me. Because there's so much more to the game. I also like it whenever a character's descriptor like really matches them. Like when their powers sound like something they'd really have. Oh, something really, really funny happened in my Lancer game on Sunday. I gotta share this before we get to the actual writing portion of tonight's stream. So, I slapped together this like side adventure for my players to go on, right? I won't go into all the details. It was a wild and wacky, zany adventure that tied into some of the past things that had happened. And one thing led to another, and they kidnapped this guy because they thought that he was experimenting on his daughter. But then they found out that like his daughter had fallen ill and he was doing these experiments to try to save her. And it's like, you know, dedicated parent. Find out that some of the things that led to the situation were his poor parenting in the beginning, and that's one of the things that led to his daughter being in a coma. It's a whole thing, right? And so that all happened, right? And then they found out that this guy was also in charge of evil organization TM that they'd been dealing with. He was like this person who was in charge of at least the legal side, the front, the government legal side of what this organization was doing. And by virtue of the things they'd seen happening, either this guy was also complicit in these evil acts happening, or he was doing nothing to stop this company from doing these evil things, even though he was technically in a position of power to do so. So one of the player characters, right, as they have this guy being held in place in the shuttle, one of the player characters, once they found out that this guy was in charge of 15 planets, pulled out 15 explosive arrows and laid them on the ground in front of this guy, and was like, well, you've done this, so I'll take one arrow away. It's like, but you need to be held accountable for your actions and for what you've done. And the implication here was that that character was going to put these explosive arrows into this NPC. NPC was terrified and was just like, and was so mentally broken that like he just accepted his fate. He was like, okay, as long as my kid gets saved, if you're going to execute me for something that I've done, I won't fight you. I'm sure I deserve it at some point. And so one thing leads to another, and then like they end up saving the guy's daughter, and as well as his other daughter, and reuniting him with his ex-wife, where they can like start to be civil and talk and interact with each other, right? And whenever this reunion happens, right, and the guy's like, okay, my daughter's safe. He approached the player character. He's like, okay, can we just go outside? I don't want my daughters to see this happen, because he's fully expecting this player character to old yeller him, like take him out behind the shed and put him out of everyone's misery, right? And the player character's like, no, spend time with your kids, spend time with your family, take your time. He's like, okay. Which seems almost cruel to say to someone that you're planning to execute, right? And I'm like, ooh, this player is going deep, right? And I'm like, I knew they were going to have some kind of reaction, but I wasn't expecting that. And while it was happening, one of the other player characters is like, hey, are you really planning to kill this guy? And it's like, no. And they're like, no, I'm trying to play the bad cop. And the other character is like, I'm pretty sure this dude is not telling his family that he's about to go die. You've completely convinced him that he's dead. And then after they have their communication, the guy's like, okay, let's do this. And the player's like, here's my number. Call me over the phone, but don't make me wait more than a couple days. And he's like, okay, thank you. I'll use that time to get my affairs in order. I'll be ready. Okay, I won't keep you waiting. And so the player's like, oh no, this guy still thinks I'm trying to kill him. And he's like, no, we don't have to meet. We can do this through the phone, like trying to say I can interview you and get the answers I need from you through the phone. but the NPC thinks that the player has just stated they have psychic powers and can kill him through the phone. So that led to this quotable moment that just would not leave, and it was like the NPC was just like, "Wait, you can do that through the phone?" Referring to like you could blow my head up through the phone. And it was this like hilarious moment. It was this glorious and hilarious moment where like the player was trying to be like threatening but did it too well. And like they're like, how did I convince people about this? Like, you know, the problem is that you weren't convincing. The problem was you were too convincing. Exactly, Nabaru. Exactly. Ooh. I was looking at a post someone made about challenging level 20 parties, and someone had like a suggestion for like how you always have to have everything has to have teeth if you want to challenge the party. And like having the environment actually do something where like every round at the start of every round everyone takes a deep for fire. Okay. That adds up. I like that. Something about raining hellfire. Oh, so about what we're doing today. Let me talk about what's going to be happening in tonight's stream. Because it's about time for us to get over there and get to the actual writing portion of the writing stream. In my story, what's about to happen is the main character and his first disciple are going to head to the villages that surround the base. Now, I don't know how realistic this is, but it's what I'm working with right now, this idea that the main character has been raised because his parents were in the resistance, he's been in the resistance, and the resistance has always been supported by the community, right? So he's always been like since a young age been working towards helping the rebellion and been like in this position of like almost privilege and power um for so long, right? And now he's finally starting to think about the outside world, and he wants to go survey the other villages, right? um and find out what they need. He wants to find out if if they are if they're starving themselves to feed the rebellion, find out if they have homeless and poor people that could be helped and all that stuff. But what's going to happen is that while his heart's in the right place, he's coming from a place of ignorance and sticking his nose into something he doesn't understand. Even though his heart is in the right place, he's not going through the proper channels. He's not empower. He's not necessarily trying to empower the community as much as he is trying to be a savior, to be like, oh, we can bring these things to fix these problems. And so he's going to make a fool of himself because the people at the villages are going to be like, you can't fix our problems. We have our problems. We deal with our own problems. You don't even have the resources to deal with your own problems, much less deal with our problems. And trust us, we wouldn't be feeding you if we couldn't feed ourselves. Um And so that's the crux of it. And it's going to be interesting because I always get secondhand embarrassment whenever I read scenes where a character is making a fool of themselves. And this is going to be me writing scenes with a character making a fool of himself. So. But okay, no, okay. When you mention Gun Gale, that's got me going. We're like, one of the things that bugs me about Gun Gale is that you are supposed to assume that these killers are able to are able to easily break into these players' houses with nobody noticing, nobody reporting anything, nobody saying anything. They're just able to break into these people's houses and kill them in time to what's happening in the game. And like, I don't know if it's maybe just the American in me, but like, it might just be the American in me because like my first thought is that just like, uh, that would, someone would definitely call the cops at some point if they saw somebody somebody they didn't recognize just letting themselves into somebody else's house. So that bugs me, right? And also the idea that in this big online game, all the players are specifically from one country or one region, that somebody can get to them. That the same group of people can get to all the victims very easily. It's just like, see, I understand that loophole, Nabaru. I just don't like it. Like, when they're talking about like, again, it could just be the American in me, right? But I grew up in a community where like someone, yeah, you're right, Nabaru. Like, I grew up in a community and I live in communities where like if they see someone that they don't recognize, someone's going to confront you. If you're in a community that and people don't recognize you, someone's going to confront you or they're going to call the cops to follow you. No matter what time of the day or night it is. Okay. Alternative GGO was the one that didn't have Kirito in it, right? It was the one that realized that the thing that was dragging, one of the things that was dragging down SAO was the OP audience insert character. Yeah. I remember a lot of people liked that, or at least when it came out, a lot of people liked it. All right. A 6 foot tall college girl with height complex. Her character's like 4 feet and super fast. Yeah, I remember that. She like jumped from game to game trying to get a generated avatar that was short because all of her avatars kept being tall and she had like a height complex or something, right? And she only reason she stuck with GGO was because her GGO, when she got a new avatar for GGO, was short. And then she decked her avatar out in cute pink things because she liked cute things, and they called her the Pink Devil because she was tiny and fast. I saw bits and pieces of it. Which, like, fashion stuff in MMOs is endgame. Like, I used to play Warframe a lot, and like I remember whenever I finally broke down and spent money on a color palette in order to be able to dye my Warframe, uh to change the colors of my Warframe and my weapons and stuff to the color scheme I wanted. And I was talking to someone in my, I think, guild was what they were called or whatever. And he was like, "You've reached endgame in Warframe. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. As soon as you are actually working on fashion, on what they called it, fashion frame, and getting different color palettes and stuff, you are in the end game of Warframe." A character with a dual blade lightsaber. Uh, uh. I saw someone do a breakdown of GGO, not alternative GGO, but the one with Kirito in it, and they were talking about all the things that was wrong with it, with the series, and how like it showed that the author didn't understand video games. Um, and like one of the things that cracked me up that the person said was like, "Hold on, you're telling me you have a gun game that has swords, but the swords are inherently more difficult, um, but really powerful, and you are presuming that no one would use them. Like gamers love a challenge. Video gamers will love to do anything to prove how elite their skills are, how great they are at the game. So like if GGO was real, you would see entire clans of blade only players." Like heck, in Armored Core 4 Answer, there was lots of people who just did blade only. Blade only runs, blade only challenges in the versus arenas. Okay, let's get to actual writing. Oh my gosh, I did it again where I just kept talking. Alright. Yeah. Okay. What did I call it? Oh, geez, I realized I haven't thought of names for the villages. Oh, no. I'll work it. I'll come up with something as we go. Okay. All right. So now we're getting started. Main character is getting set up for failure right now. And this is one of the important things where I believe it's important for characters to fail. I believe showing your characters failing is an important part of character growth where you have to show where they're at in order to make their gains more valuable and to show that these lessons they've learned have been hard fought. So I, uh, not. And this is like that moment before disaster where like had uh had Tim read over the surveys, Tim could have corrected what he had in order to prevent the first in order to prevent the chaos that is going to ensue. I don't know if I'm calling this the right thing. Hold on. I'm calling it a carpool because I'm picturing that's what you would call a place where you would store a lot of vehicles. Motor pool. Okay. Yeah, I thought I had the wrong word there. The word I was looking for was motor pool. So I wasn't too far off. It's two words. Motor pool is two words. Okay. Okay. It's two words, not one word. Did I only have it two places? I could have swore. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. I'm imagining that like there's somebody there that they have to talk to get a vehicle. That's how I'm picturing it in my head. That like it's like a guarded place where vehicles would be. They say they're here to pick something up, and then they get assigned a vehicle. No, probably if they got assigned a vehicle, they probably have keys and they would go get this specific vehicle they got. So let me change that up. Why is my thing being really weird? Let me change this wording up. I'll just say for different missions. So I wanna have a quick aside explaining what TAC-V means is it's a tactical vehicle. But I don't want to delve too deeply in it. How many words am I up to in this? This might be a long chapter. No, we're still pretty good. We're not even to the end of the second page. So this shouldn't be too long and too embarrassing. I'm not going to spend too much time, but I do want to get there. Ooh. Why are people still... Oh my gosh. I saw somebody posted something. I was like, maybe I should make sure it's not anything important. All right. I have to get my tenses right because this is all being told. This is all being told in the past tense. I don't even know if a biodiesel and electric vehicle would work. Actually, let me look that up. Because, like, yeah, they have future tech, but I should look that up because my idea is, Okay. So diesel hybrid cars are still a thing. They're currently a thing. Okay. All right, so biodiesel hybrids are a thing, or at least they were a thing before. Okay. Okay. Yep, they have buses that are biodiesel hybrids. Okay. So it is a thing. This can be one sentence. I'm glad I looked up motor pool and didn't make myself look like an idiot by calling it a carpool instead of a motor pool. I realize different organizations would have different words for it, but like, eh. It's the little things. Every little bit of research counts. Rainforest, one word or two words? I thought it was two words, but my thing is saying I thought it was one word. It is one word. Okay. I don't know why this was saying that it was two words. No. Stop that. What's a good name for a village, chat? I want to name 3 villages. But I don't want to use random generators. They can be generic names. I think it's almost better if they're generic names that you know there's another village with the same name. Because, like, they're not part of, like, an organized, like, cohesive global market. Name them after something in the world. Okay. So in the world is populated by the 7 sky cities and the 12 mega cities, the 12 land cities. And everything outside of the mega cities has been abandoned by society at large. And is just called the wilderness. Sometimes referred to as the abyss or hell. Some people, yeah. So probably something like name them after deities. Oh, that's interesting. Well, this village this village exists in the wilderness. This village exists away from the mega cities, and is a village that seeks protection from the rebels. So it's away from society at large. It's a secluded village deep in the rainforest. Primal plus random word. Okay. Primal wilderness. All right. We went with primal wilderness. Mm-hmm. So I'll say Primal Wilderness, and I'm going to have this juxtaposition where its name is Primal Wilderness, but it features manufacturing facilities. So, and it's going to be like they make the tools that they make a lot of the tools that's used on the Rebel base. Mm-hmm. What's the plural for roof? Roof, roves, hooves, grooves. Hold on. How do you pronounce? Is it just roofs? Is it just roof, Silva? Okay, so roofs. Okay. That's weird. Okay, alright. Yeah, I thought the plural of an F was a VE, like hoof and hooves. Okay. I'm misspelling columns. Yeah, it's one L, not two. Okay. Let's start with who they are, because they were told to state that they represent private interests. What is that, Silva? Gotti? How's that pronounced? I want to know how that's pronounced. I love messing with G and J sounds. It's pronounced fish. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Take the G at each from enough. The O in women. Is that an actual word? Or is that just a combination of... It's something made up to point out that the English language is difficult. Oh, okay. I just found something about it. I found a new method of spelling fish. Okay. Because, so the thing is, English takes its spelling and uh English takes its spelling and rules from a lot of different traditions. Like, English is literally like three different languages standing on each other's shoulders wearing a trench coat. What's that? What's that? That old saying? English doesn't steal. English doesn't. Anything for you, Silva. What's that joke? It's like, uh, English doesn't just, uh, English doesn't borrow from other languages. It knocks them unconscious with a club in a back alley and rifles through their pockets for different pieces of grammar and punctuation. What's that? Hold on. What's that meme? Here we go. English doesn't borrow from other languages. English follows other languages down dark alleys, beats them up, and goes through their pockets for loose change. Oh, here's another one. English doesn't borrow from other languages. English follows other languages down dark alleys, knocks them over, and goes through their pockets for loose grammar. I love it. Oh my gosh, I just saw a meme. If the English language made any sense, lackadaisical would have something to do with a shortage of flowers. I just saw the quote you mentioned, Nabiru. English, noun, a language that lurks in dark alleys, beats up other languages, and rifles through their pockets for spare vocabulary. Yes. Yeah, because English has become the language of commerce. Because English is the language of America, and America has like the most money in the world. You know enough Spanish to be dangerous. Imagine explaining that there to someone who. Yes, exactly. But I learned that almost no matter where you go, you will most likely find an English speaker. Yeah, if you're in, I don't not civilized isn't the right word. Yeah, in touristy areas. Yeah, major cities, especially places that deal with international commerce. Yeah, that's one of the things I was watching. What was it? I think it was Abroad in Japan. Is a YouTube channel with Chris Broad where he talks about his experiences living in Japan, and he was talking about bye. Gosh. He was talking about finding people who speak English, and that if you're in the city, it's not hard to find someone who speaks English, but as you go further out into the country, um, it gets harder and harder to find people who speak English. I think what was it? Girl DM made a mention about how she learned Japanese through she improved her Japanese through having conversations at bars, and she made some comment like, you'll never learn Japanese faster than if you need to find a way to defend your oshi in an argument. Yeah. Saw a video that was just people wearing shirts with text they had no clue about. From there, I wound up finding Abroad Japan's videos because YouTube. Yeah. So this part of the story is where the main character is dealing with his first rejection here. And I don't know, I'm not sure. This doesn't feel embarrassing enough. This feels like he's just getting rejected right at the door. I might make this chapter longer than normal. I'm not sure. How long is this chapter so far? Because we're getting kind of long in the chapter. We haven't done anything. We've got 130 words before we hit where I want the chapter to end. Can go a little bit longer. I need this to get worse. Okay. All right. Okay. That's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted to outline the character going to multiple uh multiple villages, but I think that this highlights enough of that failure, of that embarrassment of the character not taking no for an answer. And in this instance, right, I wanted the main character to be doing everything wrong. He's asking invasive questioning. He's got um he's not taking no for an answer and not respecting boundaries. And he's not reading the room. And he is so confident that this, his first act as a prophet, his first decision, his first plan, his first thing is going to be successful, and he's so focused on himself and what he can do and the example he can make, that he's not seeing all of these red flags that are popping up left, right, and center. And because he's missing these things, it leads to a situation where Greg has to bodily grab him and pull him out of the room to be like, "Hey, yeah, we're leaving, totally leaving. Yep, bye." And in order to retreat from the room, to avoid an altercation. And like this is kind of funny because like the main character has printed out multiple of these surveys with the expectation that he's going to be handing these out to that he's going to be using these to either hand them out or gather information from all of these different townships and villages in order to find ways that he can better serve the community. But this is an instance where he's using this kind of old style interaction where he's trying to, like, he's envisioning the community or the rebellion being the ones to save these communities, right? To reach in and to solve their problems for them, instead of looking at how they can work to empower the communities in order to be able to allow them to help them solve their own problems. And there's a difference between trying to solve it for someone and trying to help them solve their own problems. There's a difference between that. And a lot of that difference comes from respect. All right, I think we did pretty good here. And in this instance where let me see how many words I was up to with this one. 2100. Okay, yeah, that's about where I wanted to go. And in this instance, right? Where the main character is trying to insert help where it isn't needed and where it isn't wanted, is going to be different and juxtaposed by what happens in the next chapter, where a problem arises that the rebellion needs to get involved, well, should be getting involved in, right? But the rebellion doesn't want to get involved. And then that's a point where there is an actual need that needs to be met. And that's going to be a different situation entirely. Oh, that reminds me. Hold on one second. I just remembered something. So like I went to the doctor today and they scheduled my doctor's appointment without like talking to me, and like I'm gonna have to call them and reschedule this because like they scheduled me an appointment for 8:30 in the morning. And I'm like, what? I'll put it in my calendar. Okay, oh wait, no, let me. I don't know why when I put things on my Google Calendar, it always wants to email me a thing 10 minutes before. I'm like, I don't need an email for this because that's just clogging up my email. Okay. I wanted to do that before I forgot. Ugh. All right. Oh, embarrassed has two R's and two S's. Of course it does. I'm trying to avoid having to actually write out what was on the survey, what questions were on the survey, because I want it to be a general idea, but I don't want it to be clearly defined because I want it to be a nebulous thing that kind of forms in the mind of all of the readers of their like, oh, what kind of things is really on that survey? And everyone comes up with their own thing. Like there are some things that are directly referenced, but like he said he had 50 questions, so he must have had some kind of stuff. Mm. chapter 8 is the eight that is the chapter that's supposed to lead into the plot twist. And the plot twist is going to be developing the world a little bit more. Oh. Hey Tom. We are in chapter 8. So, just finished writing chapter 7. Chapter 7 was the chapter where the main character essentially fails in chapter 7. The main character goes to meet some of the villages around the bases and to try to ask them about what kind of problems they have, to see if he can find ways that he could be helpful, and that his growing group could better support and assist these communities. But he was doing it in a way that was overly blunt and was taken as an insult to the people he was querying, he was talking to. And I wanted to show that because I felt like it was important for the reader to see the main character fail, see the main character try something, be really into it, put a great deal of effort into something, and then have it fall apart around him, to really show where he's at as he's part of the progression and the growth. And in chapter 7, what it's supposed to see is the main character trying to insert himself and offer help where it is not needed, not asked for, not welcome. And then in chapter 8, we have where things get turned on their head, where a new problem arises. Yes, failure is absolutely necessary for growth. Oh, good night, Silva. Thank you for coming to stream. It's always great to have you. But so in chapter 8, things are going to get turned on their head, where a new problem arises, where a new community comes to the rebellion looking for help, looking for protection, looking for assistance. And the main character sees that and sees this is a group that does actually need help, that is actually asking for our help and our assistance. And then that leads to some interactions, that lead to further growth as the character starts to learn more about like what it means to be helping people. Thank you, Tom. How many words did I write today? About 1,400 words. I'd say doing 1,400 words in one sitting is not bad. Not bad. So this week is going to be an interesting week. Let's, I think we're going to wrap up writing for tonight. Thank you, Nabiru. There was some definite questions and good conversation and interesting interactions. Let's bounce over to the just chatting screen. I really need to make that transition a little bit slower. Let's change over the playlist. I want... Here we go. There we go. Oh, that's too loud. There we go. Okay, that'll have to do. That will have to do. So yeah, let's talk about the week. I run a Lancer game tomorrow. And I've got another got that other game I was mentioning on Wednesday. Gonna see how that all comes together. And then Thursday is kind of like my one of my I don't want to say day off, but it's kind of one of my chill days where I just watch anime and watch Critical Role. So that's always exciting and emotional. Friday is going to be interesting. So Friday, my stream on Friday is starting way earlier than normal. Instead of starting at the normal 8:30 p.m. EST, the stream is going to be starting at 5 p.m. EST. Because it's going to be doing a collaboration stream with Hero Girls VT, a streamer who streams on Twitch, who's another VTuber. We're going to be going from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Going to be doing some a bunch of we're going to be talking a lot about writing. Specifically, we're going to be talking about writing inspirations, writing techniques. Well, I don't know if we're going to techniques, but we'll definitely go into lots of stuff about inspiration and ideas. And while we're talking, we're going to be doing a writing prompt challenge where we are going to randomly generate a prompt that the two of us have to write our own stories based on the same prompt. And then we trade stories at the end. And read each other's stories, and offer critiques and suggestions at the end based on those stories. So it'll be interesting, it'll be fun, it'll be exciting. It'll be my first like collab in a while. I haven't done anything like that in quite a while. At least a couple years. The last collab I did was when I used to try running games on stream, but that never really went well. I was trying to capture the lightning in a bottle from the past games I'd run, and I had players that weren't really invested, and it was just a rough time. And I think there were probably some things I could have done to have gotten my players more invested in the game. But that is what it is. So I haven't really done any kind of collaboration like this in a long time. And I don't even, among the collaborations I've done, I don't think I've ever done anything like this. Like, way back when I started, I used to do League of Legends streams, and I would have somebody on to duo with me while I did my League streams. So I did that, and then I had some people on for some of my Minecraft streams. We did some group streams, with some group adventures for some of the Minecraft streams. And then there was the gaming, where, you know, like when I ran the show The Cosmic Corsairs, or when I tried running other shows on my stream. But like doing something like this where we're just like hanging out, I mean, I guess we're kind of still doing an activity. Like we're going to be writing. So it would definitely be interesting. And like we're both hoping that this is like going to be like the first of multiple collaborations we do, because we are good friends. And we're hoping that like there will be more collaborations in the future. But we have to take it all one step at a time. You know what I mean? We can't plan the next like 2 collaborations or the next collaboration or whatever until after we get to the first one, you know? Also, it was funny. I went to the doctor to get my original thing I was getting checked up for was seeing how my blood pressure would go on how I was going to go on my new blood pressure medication. Like I started a new blood pressure medication and changed up my diet where I was having a lot less salt. And like I went in to the doctor to get my vitals read, right? We actually ended up not reading my blood sugar till the end of the stream, end of the doctor's appointment, but my blood sugar is good. My blood pressure is now in the safe range, because before it was like teetering on the edge between safe and unsafe. And now it's very firmly in the safe bracket. So that's good. My weight's pretty good. But my heart rate, my pulse was racing. My heart rate reached some dangerous levels while I was there. And the only thing that could be causing that is that I've started drinking, not quite energy drinks, but like, you know, those Mio energy or those Mio water flavorings? I've started drinking some of those to try to get more water down. And I got some of the energy ones, and I got some of the ones that are just plain vitamin ones. But I usually do like one energy one caffeine, because the energy ones have caffeine. So I usually do like one caffeine drink, one to two of those a day, right? And I talked to my doctor about it. It's like, we need to see how much caffeine is in those, because your body is reacting really badly, and the only like you've never had this happen before. And my doctor's like, if your heart rate had been like this every single time, we would have had this conversation sooner. But like, I don't know how to tell my doctor that like I probably just need to straight up tell her, be like, every time I've come in, my heart rate has been elevated, and there's always some kind of an excuse of anxiety or whatever. So like I've always had like some kind of elevated stuff, but it's part of the I probably shouldn't be going into some of my medical stuff, but it was really funny that like everything else was fine, just my heart rate was just really crazy. So I guess I don't know if I just need to cut back on the caffeine, or if I just am one of those people that it's not safe for me to have caffeine. Maybe maybe I have to swear it off. And it's funny because I went so long with no caffeine. And it's only very recently that I've been reintroducing caffeine to my diet, which is how I know that it has to be the caffeine, because my heart rate was never this drastic before. It was always slightly elevated, but never like this. Yep. Uh, might throw. I don't know. I'm looking at uh different things I could throw at the players for the Wednesday game. Could do maybe a couple a Terrascape with like some backups. I saw one person when I was looking online for like different things that could be challenging for high level parties, and someone was suggesting a Terrascape with a group of high level clerics backing them up. And I'm like, that's interesting. All right. Oh, one of the actors from Power Rangers does streaming. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see if there's anything cool on the interwebs. Why are there things with Crony? What did Crony do now? Okay, so ba ba da ba da. So that was my day, and that's the stuff that I have going on. What about you all, chat? What's everybody else got going on this week? Somebody said on Facebook, they said it dawned on me that Fast and the Furious is basically my Lord of the Rings, and this is probably why I struggle to connect with people. And I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, Fast and the Furious is definitely a it's definitely a vibe. You need to watch more anime. Well, what anime are you watching now, Nabaru? It's something to do to fill the week. I get that. Watching people react to Overlord. Oh, is that the one? That's the one with the skeleton, right? Did I just wish my friend's dog a happy birthday? I did just wish my friend's dog a happy birthday. I just like go down the list of people wishing happy birthday that Facebook says it's their birthday. I'm gonna delete this post now. Where an antagonist is the main character. Yeah, that definitely describes it. Yeah, I watched the first like couple episodes of Overlord. It seemed interesting. I was confused how it all worked because like I'd seen bits and pieces of it, but like never actually watched the first episode. So I didn't understand what it was. But it wasn't until I watched the first episode that I understood what was happening. Um and like yeah, one that I think is really good that needs a second season is Skeleton Knight in Another World. It's a similar concept, except the main character is very much trying to be a hero. But he's also trying to lead a normal life, but he's a heroic individual by nature. So the pastor of the church near where I live put out a Facebook post asking who's hiring, probably trying to find jobs for some other people in the community, right? Now, one of the people who commented on the Facebook post said, check Indeed. And I'm like, I'm sure if someone has gotten so desperate that they're asking the pastor for help finding a job, that like they've probably already checked Indeed. But I guess it's always worth it to bring it up in case somebody hadn't thought of it. This is funny. Hold on. Oh, let me share this meme I found. Boss, you're late again. I saw a dog. That's what you said yesterday. He lives at my house. He lives in my house. Some days you just gotta you just gotta pet the dog. As a cat person, I have to meme. I have to laugh at this other meme. Lady wanted to borrow an orange cat uh for a lasagna dinner with the Garfield loving 4-year-old. Now, I saw someone make a post about how like the stuff in lasagna is not healthy for a cat. So like the stuff you find in your average lasagna is not safe for cats to eat. Not generally. Or at least that's what the post said. I don't know if it's true. But like it's still funny to see someone talking about wanting to have a full on like borrow somebody's cat for a single like fancy dinner. Somebody in the comments said that the lady succeeded and her 2 kids had a blast. And they uploaded a picture of the cat and the kids eating lasagna dinner. That's got to be a really chill cat. Oh no, what have you got, Nabiru? Oh no. Posted in memes. This is what Nabiru shared. It's not like I can't appreciate the reasoning behind the bad guy waiting for the hero to finish transforming. Listen, some of those transformation sequences are just really cool to watch. From Sakia Gam of Mahajong. No actual powers or henshins. Yet. Oh my gosh, this will be the last one. I got one more to share with you all. Last one I want to share with you all before we wind down for the night. The huge spider in my room is now called Cotton Eye Joe because I want to know two things. Where did he come from and where did he go? If that's not a horror story, I don't know what is. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Someone commented that said, so funny, I loved reading this on the web. You mess when you try to smack it, you'll constantly think it's out for revenge now. Yeah, exactly. Spiders are always out for vengeance. Coming from a cold state, we had no-see-ums and small spiders, bugs that can jump. So don't smack unless you're sure you can unalive it. Yeah, I get that. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, that was the last one I wanted to show you all. I gotta get better at posting these memes I find. Why is this not removing? I want to clear the page. There we go. Boop. Okay. After stream, I'm gonna work on maybe some drawing and some some encounter design and some planning for all of the other games I've got going on. So gonna be tinkering around with a lot of that stuff. But let's wind down for the night. For those of you who don't know, I like to end my streams by saying positive things about my viewers, and I find that saying nice things about people is a really... Why did I open Facebook? It's just gonna be tons of posts, even though it's the middle of the night. Sorry about that. So being a little tired. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I get done after stream. Maybe I'm just gonna sit around and watch random YouTube videos all night, or maybe I'll just call it an early night. I don't know. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, I like to end my streams by saying positive affirmations about my viewers. So I want to say to Nabiru, to Silva, to Tom, to anyone else who watched the stream and didn't say anything and lurked in the background, and to everyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I want to say that I love all of you and I believe in each and every one of you. I think that you all are special, precious, unique, one-of-a-kind treasures, and that each one of you possesses a truly special talent and energy that only you can bring to everything you do. I think that you all are wonderful, outstanding, and unique individuals that make this world a better place just by living in it, and I'm grateful every day to live in a world with you in it. Thank you for coming to my stream. Thank you for putting up with my eccentricities and my weird moments of awkward silence. Thank you for being a member of this community, and thank you for being amazing. Always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. I do ask that you like the stream. It helps the algorithm of pushing it out, and every little bit counts. Every little bit helps. If you have any friends, family, acquaintances, arch rivals, nemesis, enemies, hatred, favorite enemies that you think might enjoy my content, feel free to invite them to stream or show them any of my content. Like I said, next stream is going to be Friday at 5 p.m. EST. It's going to be the special collab stream with Hero Girls VT. It'll be a very special and exciting stream, full of fun times and great experiences. But yeah, that's going to be the next stream. And if you want to keep up with what I'm doing here on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and ding the notification bell to let you know whenever I go live or when I release any new content. Um, and if you want to keep up with what I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can follow my Twitter or join my Discord. Links to both of those are in the description down below. I finally cleaned up a little bit of the stuff in the description, so it should be easier to find stuff. With that said, if always remember, sorry, I blanked out for a second. My brain just went blah. Always remember, you're never required to pay to be welcome here. Never think that you have to donate to be wanted. Your time, your attention, and your energy are payment enough, and each one of you makes this community better just by being in it, and I'm grateful for you all being here. With that said, if you ever feel motivated to donate to improve the stream and to improve my life, links where you can do that are in the description down below. I'm grateful for every little bit that every bit and amount of the little or small, little or big, that has been donated to help improve the stream and to improve my life. I am grateful to each and every one of you, and I thank you all. Thank you all for coming to my stream. Thank you for giving me your time, your attention, and your energy, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.